The crypto world is, well, it's wild, right? Prices go to the moon one day and then completely crash the next. But in the middle of all that chaos, there's one project that's trying to play a totally different game. We're talking about Pi Network and a really unique strategy that just might set it apart from everything else out there.
So, that's the big question we're tackling today. Is this thing called GCV, Global Consensus Value, the secret weapon that's going to define Pi Network's future? The community sure seems to think something big is brewing.
Look, to really get why this is such a big deal, you've got to understand the world it was born into. For the longest time, the crypto market has been all about one thing: chaos. We're talking insane volatility, huge speculation, and these massive exchanges and market makers who basically dictate the value of everything. It's a trader's paradise, for sure, but maybe not the best place for building something stable. And that sets the stage perfectly for what we're about to get into. We're going to look at all that market chaos and see how GCV is being positioned as a potential secret weapon to fight back against it.
So, what in the world is GCV? Well, at its heart, it's not just some target price. Think of it more like an economic engine. It's designed to figure out a currency's value from the inside of its own ecosystem, totally separate from all the madness of the external market.
But you know what's really fascinating? It's not just about what it does, but what it's built to ignore. The whole point of GCV is to be completely deaf to the noise of exchange fluctuations. It's designed to be immune to price manipulation and to not care about market sentiment or what some massive whale is doing. The idea is to build a kind of protective wall around the ecosystem's true value.
Okay, that leads us right to the big reveal, right? What exactly is this mechanism? How is it all supposed to work under the hood? The fundamental principle is actually pretty simple. The value is determined by the system itself. It's an inside job. It's not about what some trading platform says it's worth on a random Tuesday. It's about what the network itself proves it's worth through its own real internal economy.
So how do they calculate that value? It's through this idea they call smart value. And here, value isn't just a number on a screen, it's a direct result of real things happening. As more people use the network, as transaction volume grows, as more apps and services pop up, the value gets smarter. It becomes more robust and justified, instead of just being speculatively higher.
All right, let's really get into the nitty-gritty of this smart value idea and see just how radically different it is from what we're used to in crypto.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is just, wow, it's night and day. On one side, you've got that speculative roller coaster we all know and love or hate, where currencies are driven by hype. And on the other, you've got the GCV model, where value is built on actual network activity, and it's actively trying to create stability as a direct result of the system being useful.
So this creates a massive split in the road. It really frames the whole debate as a choice. What are you trying to be? Are you a functional currency, or are you a speculative asset?
And this table just lays it all out perfectly. You've got Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are seen as strong digital assets, no doubt, but their value comes from market speculation. And for a lot of people, the goal is just price going up. The audience? Traders, speculators. But the GCV model positions Pi completely differently, as a functional currency. Its value comes from internal utility. The main goal is to make the system work. And the target audience? Well, it's institutions, banks, maybe even entire economies.
And that whole institutional angle brings up a huge question for long-term adoption, right? What do these big financial players really want from a digital currency?
When you talk about big money, about banks and institutions, they don't really care about moonshots. They care about one thing above everything else: reliability. And the GCV model is trying to give them exactly that. It's a checklist of things they love: stability over crazy volatility, clear algorithmic logic, and self-correcting systems that can manage supply. Honestly, this approach sounds a lot more like a regulated monetary system than a wild speculative coin. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great, but it all leads to the big question everyone in crypto eventually asks. What about the price? But here, we kind of have to reframe it. It's not just about price, it's about real value.
See, when you hear people throwing around these huge, mind-boggling numbers for Pi, it's easy to get caught up in that. But the goal here isn't necessarily just to see a massive number on an exchange ticker.
Instead, those numbers are meant to represent the value of an entire economic system. Think bigger. We're not talking about the price of a single stock. We're talking about the total value of the entire stock market. It's a shift from the price of one coin to the GDP of a digital nation. It's a much bigger and way more powerful concept.
And the whole philosophy really boils down to this one powerful idea. Our system will work, and the price will be a result, not a goal. The focus is all on building a working economy first, with the belief that a fair value will just naturally come from that utility.
So, at the end of the day, what are we looking at here? If this GCV strategy is what they go with, Pi Network isn't just playing the crypto game differently. It feels like it's trying to create a whole new game with a totally different set of rules.
And this is where things could get really interesting. Some people are calling this the Great Sort. The prediction is that sometime between 2025 and 2026, the crypto market is going to start to split. All the speculative currencies will end up in one camp, while these utility-focused economic systems will form a completely different one.
So I want to leave you with this final thought, a different way of looking at all of this. If this vision actually plays out, the most important question you can ask won't be, how much is Pi? Instead, it'll be, what does Pi do and who needs it? And that's a fundamental shift from a conversation about price to a conversation about purpose.